Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Anna. I'm a former dancer and this channel is about sewing, costuming, historical sewing, history bounding, fantasy clothing, theater, costume, concepts and general tips and tricks around crafting. Today I'm going to show you a little bit of my background and also tell you who am I and what is my experience in theater and with costumes, and also throughout all my life, what did I do? And yeah, today I'm talking about that and I hope you enjoy it. Well, let's start this journey very early, because dancing was always a huge part in my life and is also currently more as something I have to think about in order to do costumes, because I'm also doing costumes for dancers and for actors. But my experience as a dancer contributes in my work now. And so let's begin there. I started dance when I was 3 years old, and I was dancing hip hop and commercial and video clip dancing, not from this young age, but the more I matured, and I started ballroom dancing at 8, and I did this throughout all the years, and started ballroom competition dancing at 17. I was part of a group that went to the second league of national championships, and because of my education in school and my living conditions, I had to stop when I was 19 years old. And whilst all this time I was dancing and also doing some things at the same time, which was always doing costumes for the formation and for myself. I always was very interested in the psychological progression that we have in dancing, and I was also teaching several groups for ballroom dancing and hip hop and all this stuff. Then I met my former boyfriend, and it was a very difficult relationship, so I stopped dancing for several years, and when we separated, then I went back to dancing and I did an internship for a dance company, and I was introduced to modern dance, to jazz dance, to ballet, and all the stuff that you can do alone without a partner. And in the next years I auditioned and I went into my education as a dancer, and when I finished, I did a lot of projects as a choreographer, as a dancer, as a performer, as an aerialist, and also as a singer. But this is not something I'm doing anymore. But yeah, here we are. And since I was doing all these stage things, I recognized not being happy with it. It was not fulfilling for me to be on stage, and I realized very slowly, because sometimes I'm a little bit slow and I'm stubborn, because if I have a dream and I wanted it so much, and I was learning and training for years and I wanted it to work out. And because of this stubbornness, I did it for more years than I should have, because I also got injured sometimes, and this also led me to stop it. And because I was always in my life teaching and having more the educational factor in my mind, and also because my body is not really a ballet body, and it's more modern and jazz, and my turnout is not that big, and stretch was nice, but it was not the typical ballet. And I found ways also in specializing on different techniques like Horton techniques, Graham technique, which are not too much ballet based. And I went more and more into education and building the bodies of dancers. So I did my own training, my own technique, and I did this with a lot of things because I'm a little bit on this side of out of a box thinker, and I always made things different, and I was always a different teacher and a different dancer and a different choreographer, and I was not really easy to fit into a box. But let's move on. After I did that, I wanted to go a little bit further, so I moved to Hamburg in Germany, and I'm also German, just so you know. So I just moved from the western Germany to the north, and there I went straight into teaching, and I was also at that point choreographing and dancing and doing projects, but the most important thing there was me teaching in a Hamburg musical school. So I was teaching throughout all the semesters, and was working with all the actors and the musical actresses and the dancers, and also did a lot of research in anatomy, in massage techniques that benefit the body. I learned some stretching techniques that are very, very beneficial, especially for dancers and artists. And I was quite happy with this profession. But then 2020 came and everything was different, and there were a lot of struggles I had to face. Most and foremost, it was financially, because we were not allowed to work, and almost all of the classes that I was giving were shut off, and I had maybe 10% of the classes that I was teaching before. And Hamburg, if you don't know, is a very expensive city, so rent and the daily expenses and everything is pretty much. So I tried for 1 year to stay there and to build up, because I was very naive and was thinking, it takes a few months and then we're back to basics and we can move on. And I was completely wrong, as we all know. And I realized then in July 2021, and I had to move back to my hometown, where there is not so much of an artist and musical and dancer friendly environment. They are not really, they are very industrial and hard workers and not really the kind of artists. And also I was reorganizing my life, because I was there happened a lot of things that I was not willing to continue. So I decided to cut off every bond I had with it, and to leave theater and to leave dance. And because I was always doing costumes, and I was also doing costumes at the time in Hamburg, and was designing my own clothing, and I was happy about that, and I was creative, and I was learning so much about the anatomy of the body, in addition to what I learned as a performer before. So I decided to go more into that. So I did that and did more research on historical sewing, because I I like medieval clothing, I like historical clothing, I like the silhouettes of the Victorian era. I like also a lot of mythology and costuming and cosplay, but not too much of cosplay because I don't like to recreate something from someone else. I want to create my own things, so it's more costuming. And I got more and more into that, and at this moment I'm doing also teaching for sewing. I have a German YouTube channel where I also talk about things, general things for sewing and fabric stash and ironing and all these little things that you have to know to have a really good product. And I also developed my own patterning system because, as I told you before, I'm an out-of-the-box thinker, and if there is something not really working out for me, I research a lot and put everything together and create my own things. And I have online courses to teach my patterning system because this is very special. Because it also aligns with the energy system. But this is not too much for everyone, but it's like a side note that there can be clothing that also benefits your energy system. And yeah, there I am now. But I recognize also I miss theater. And so I also worked with and for independent artists and theaters in order to make costume concepts for pieces and to create the perfect costume for a specific character on stage and their development. And I did this with also a very beautiful dancer and choreographer, Annika is her name. And what I did for her was also in an exhibition in the Folkwang University in Essen, which is a big school. I was very proud of that too. Yeah, and this is who I am, what I do, and what I did, and where my background is coming from. And yeah, until next time, if you wish to be notified if there's any new content coming up, you can push the subscribe button and the bell and you will be notified if there's any video uploaded. If you wish, you can also leave a comment and a like, and down below are also my socials for Instagram and so on, if you like to subscribe for different content. So I wish you a very good and crafty day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.